Hello, third graders. Welcome to our last big lesson on plants. This week, we are going to be talking about how plants respond to their environment. So we are in our reading packet on the plant responses section on page 76, and in our question packet on plant response section, page 86. So if you want to grab your reading and your questions, and we'll get started. The first plant response we're going to talk about is light. How do plants respond to the light? So let's go ahead and start with our before true and false questions. Again, I'm on page 86 in my question packet. Statement 1 says, some seeds need light in order to germinate. Do you think that is true or false? Go ahead and fill in your before box. Some seeds need light in order to germinate. Our second statement to get our brain thinking today says, some kinds of flowers open only at night and stay closed during the day. Do you think that's true or false? Some kinds of flowers open only at night and stay closed during the day. All right, you should have your two before questions filled in, true or false. And let's go ahead and dive in. Remember, follow along in your reading as we go through our lesson together. Plant responses. Although they can't get up and walk around, plants are living things. But plants can respond to their environment in ways that help them survive. So if I'm going to respond to something, I'm going to act based on what's happening. Like if you were to walk outside and it's cold, you would respond by grabbing a jacket. So plants respond to their environment to help them survive. One of the things in the environment is light. One important way plants respond to the environment involves growing toward or away from a light source. The stems and leaves of a plant will grow toward the light. This response helps the leaves of the plant get closer to the source of the light energy. Remember, plants need sunlight for photosynthesis. That's where they make their food. So growing toward the light helps plants make more food. Okay, so it's important for plants to grow towards their light in order to make their food through photosynthesis. If the leaves absorb more sun energy, it will make more food. If the roots go down into the soil instead of up, then they'll find more water and nutrients, which will help our plants to be healthy. Look at this plant up close. You can see how it is bending toward the light. In order for plants to do this, they make cells on one side grow more than on the other. And they put more water on one side and less water on the other. Look at this picture of this bendable straw. It's the same parts. Notice how this side of the straw is still pretty tight, where the other side is kind of stretched out or longer. It's the same kind of with a stem of a plant. It will bend or put more water on one side and less on the other so it can stretch out towards the light. After our lesson today, you will find some other videos that'll help explain. The first one you'll watch is of these tomato plants and how they turn toward their sun or the solar source. Look at this plant. Which way is the light coming from in this photograph? You can tell the light is coming from the left side because the plant is growing towards the left. Look at these plants. Where is the light source coming from here? You can see the light source must be coming from somewhere on the right because as the plants are growing, they're bending towards the right. Same here. You can notice where the light source is coming from because the plants are bending or turning towards their light source so they can absorb more energy. Here's another example of a plant growing towards its light source. It is grown up and then turned in order to reach the sunlight. Here's another example of a plant turning towards its light source. These look like those straws, how one side has probably more water and the other side has less, so that it can turn and receive the most sun energy. Same thing with these wildflowers. They're turning towards the light source. The stems of some plants follow the movement of the sun during the day. When it is young, the head of a sunflower, that would be this part, faces toward the sun in the morning. As the day goes on, the flowers turn slowly westward. During the night, the flowers turn back to the east again. So the sun rises in the east, so it prepares itself for the rising sun, and sets in the west, so it turns as the sun moves across the sky. When the sunflower is older, the stem turns woody and the flowers stop turning. So at the very beginning stage, a sunflower will turn and follow the sun as it moves across the sky. After our lesson, you will watch a video of a sunflower facing the sun as it moves across the sky. Some tiny seeds will not germinate, remember that means begins to grow, unless they receive some light. There was one of our questions. Some tiny seeds will not germinate unless they receive some light. If these seeds are planted too far down into the soil, they will not start to grow. For example, lettuce seeds will only germinate if they get some light at the surface of the soil. Lettuce seeds are very small. Because of their tiny size, lettuce seeds have very little food for the young plant. If they are planted too far underneath the soil, they will run out of food before reaching the sunlight. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Here is a picture of a lettuce seed. It is blown up. So this is the size of it. It is 2 millimeters. I want you to think of 2 dimes side by side. That's the thickness, or 2 paper clips. That's about the size of this seed across. So if this is planted too far down into the soil, it doesn't have enough food inside that seed, which we've talked about, in order to help it grow to the surface. It has to be very close. Some plants respond to the daily cycle of light and darkness. Morning glory flowers, for example, open during the day and close at night. So this is a picture of a morning glory that opens in the morning and closes at night. Its relative, the moonflower, has flowers that open at night and close during the day. So there's another answer to our question. Moonflowers open at night but close during the day. Some plants open their leaves during the day to collect sunlight and then close their leaves at night to prevent water loss. After we finish our lesson, you're going to watch this video of a morning glory and how it opens in the morning and then closes in the evening. All right, the next time we come together, we will be talking about how gravity affects plants. So let's just review about our light today. Remember, the stems grow toward the light. The roots grow away from the light. Some stems follow the movement of the sun, like a sunflower, and some seeds need light in order to germinate because they're so small they don't have enough food to help the plant make it through deep soil. Some plants open and close their leaves following the cycle of light and darkness, like the morning glory and the moonflower. All right, I will see you for our next lesson on gravity.